Most teachers start in the wrong place. They ask themselves, what topic should I teach or which platform should I use? But the first real question is much simpler and much more important. Why do I want an online course in the first place? That question matters because an online course is not just lessons on the internet. It is a different kind of teaching product. It can give you rich flexibility and leverage that classroom teaching or one-to-one tutoring often cannot. But it also asks something different from you. It asks you to think like a course designer, not only like a teacher. You need structure, clear communication, learner support, assessment, accessibility, and a learning experience that works even when you are not in the room. That is exactly what this course is built around. We are not here to sell you a fantasy about passive income. We are not going to tell you to upload a few videos and pray to the algorithm gods. In this program, you build your own course while learning how online teaching actually works. You define your learners, shape your course promise, structure your modules and lessons, create assignments and assessments, and assemble the course inside Subschool. So this is not just a course about course creation, it is a course in which you create one dot, yes, comma. There are shorter introductory programs out there, and some of them are genuinely useful. Some focus on the basics of course design in just a few hours. Others focus on quick validation or fast launch mechanics. For example, the University of Edinburgh's beginner course on Coursera takes about 7 to 8 hours and focuses on audience, narrative, active learning, accessibility, and digital tools. Platforms like Thinkific and Kajabi also put strong emphasis on validating demand before you invest too much in production. Those are useful pieces, but our approach is broader. It combines teacher methodology, course design, production, platform assembly, quality review, launch, and long-term improvement in one system. So what can an online course realistically do for a teacher or tutor? A good online course can help you stop relying only on live hours for income. It can help you reach students beyond your school, your city, or your current tutoring circle. It can help you turn scattered expertise into a clear product with a defined result. It can help you build authority because a structured course shows that you can organize knowledge, not just explain it live. And it can help you create a ladder of offers starting with a low risk first lesson, moving into a core course, and then leading into higher support formats like feedback, live sessions, or premium tutoring. There is also real evidence that this market is large. Teachable said in late 2025 that courses and related products on its platform had reached 96 million students worldwide. Hotmart said creators across Hotmart and Teachable had collectively exceeded $10 billion in gross merchandise volume. And Kajabi reported that by 2023, its creators had reached $5 billion in lifetime earnings across 60,000 creators and more than 70 million customers. Now, those numbers do not mean your course will automatically succeed. Let's not get drunk on platform statistics, but they do prove that people are willing to pay for learning products at scale. Now, let's be equally honest about what an online course does not do. It does not automatically create passive income. It does not magically sell just because you are a good teacher. It does not guarantee freedom, scale, or easy money. And it absolutely does not mean you can dump your class notes into a platform and expect students to appear like enchanted woodland creatures. A course is still work, it is simply a different kind of work. You do less repetition and more design. You spend more time structuring, clarifying, recording, testing, reviewing, improving, and communicating. That trade can be excellent, but it is still a trade. So, how much time does this usually take? There are two honest answers. First, comma. You can learn the basics of course design fairly quickly. Again, a good benchmark is that University of Edinburgh course, which introduces the core fundamentals in about 7 to 8 hours. That tells you something useful. The basics are learnable. You do not need to disappear for 6 months into a cave and emerge holding a PDF and a 1,000-yard stare. Second, building a real course takes longer than learning about course creation. A mini course with a narrow promise, a few lessons, and simple practice can often be produced relatively quickly. Thinkific specifically recommends mini courses as a faster format and says they can often be created in under 2 weeks. A solid starter course with structured modules, clear materials, assignments, and basic polish usually takes several weeks, and a full professional course with stronger methodology, feedback systems, assessments, launch materials, and revisions often takes 8 to 12 weeks or more, especially the first time. The biggest variable is not talent, it is whether you try to build the whole cathedral before checking whether anyone wants to enter it. Now let's talk about the question that suddenly makes everyone just curious in a very suspicious way. How much money can you make? There is no standard income for an online course. Some teachers build a course and make almost nothing. Some create a side income. Some build a meaningful second revenue stream. And some turn courses into a real business. The category is clearly real, and large platforms prove that. But no platform statistic can tell you what your specific course will earn. The more useful way to think about course income is through business models, not generic averages. The same $6,000 in revenue can come from very different strategies. You could have 20 students paying $300. You could have 100 students paying $60. Or you could have 300 students paying $20. Same revenue, completely different business. That matters because teachers often imagine only one path. In reality, there are several common ones. You can build a smaller premium course for a narrow audience. You can build a mid-priced focused course for a clear problem. Or you can build a low-priced broad entry product that reaches more people and leads into bigger offers later. So when you ask how much can I earn, the better question is this: what kind of course business am I building? Is it premium and niche, broad and affordable, or a ladder with several levels? That question also explains why some teachers earn a lot while others barely sell. Usually the difference comes down to a few practical things. Some teachers sell a result while others only sell a topic. Biology, math, or English grammar is not a strong promise by itself. Students buy outcomes. They want to pass an exam, master a skill, stop making mistakes, or get better faster. Some teachers validate demand before production, while others guess. Thinkific recommends pre-selling to validate demand before you spend too much time and money building. Kajabi recommends polling your audience on social media before creating the course. Teachable also pushes creators toward searching, listening, asking, and testing before going all in. Some teachers start small, while others build too much too early. A mini course, a paid workshop, a single lesson, or a cheap pilot offer can teach you more than 3 weeks of private overthinking and pretending that market research is happening in your own head. Some teachers price around value, while others price around fear. Thinkific makes a very good point here. Do not price based on length alone. Price should reflect the value of the result, the support you provide, and what the learner is trying to achieve. Some teachers build trust before launch, while others create in silence. When you publish useful content before launching, you learn what your audience actually responds to. That makes both course creation and marketing easier. And finally, some teachers create a real learning experience while others just upload materials. Online learners need clear instructions, logical navigation, readable design, and an obvious way to get started. That sounds basic, but basic is where a shocking number of courses die. So how can you validate demand without building a full course? Pre-selling is one option, but it is not the only smart one. You can pre-sell the course and see whether people are willing to pay before the full product is finished. You can launch a small cheap or free version first, like a mini course, a one lesson paid trial, a short workshop, or a tiny pilot. You can use social content as live market research by watching what people save, comment on, ask about, or share. And you can ask real students direct questions, not vague questions like, would you maybe buy a course from me someday? That question is useless. Ask which problem is most urgent, which topic they would pay to solve first, what they have already tried, and what would make the solution worth paying for. Now let's get to the less glamorous part, because this is where real teachers usually hit the wall. A lot of people think I know my subject, but I do not know how to package it. That is probably the most common problem. Live teaching and course design are different skills. In a live lesson, you can repair structure in real time. In a course, structure has to do that work in advance. Other teachers struggle with what to leave out. They overbuild because they feel guilty charging for too little. The result is a bloated course that overwhelms students and takes forever to produce. Some are afraid the course will not be good enough. Fair fear. Still, perfectionism is one of the main reasons teachers never launch. A strong small course beats a grand unfinished masterpiece every single time. Some do not want to be on camera all the time. Also fair. The good news is that a course does not have to be pure talking head video. Strong digital learning can include articles, homework, presentations, mind maps, and other formats. And yes, you can also create a digital avatar to make videos, which lets you focus more on content quality and less on spending your life adjusting your hair and pretending your webcam angle is a personality trait. Some worry that nobody will buy. That is exactly why validation should come before full production. Others worry that students will buy but never finish. Also a real concern. That is why course design is not only about content. It is about clarity, pacing, engagement, instructions, assessment, and support. And some worry that they will end up spending all their time supporting students and simply create a new full-time job with extra steps. Excellent question. A course can reduce repetition, but it can also create support work if you promise too much, communicate badly, or design unclear assignments. This is one reason format and pricing matter so much. A low-priced, self-paced course and a premium feedback-based course are not the same business. This is also where Subschool becomes especially useful. On the platform, you can automatically check even detailed homework solutions using artificial intelligence. That means students can receive feedback on real work, not just a score on a test. Well, it helps you find the balance between student autonomy and the amount of support you personally provide. So, what questions should a teacher ask before deciding to create a course? At this point, the useful questions are not just can I do it? They are things like do I repeat the same explanations often enough for a course to make sense? Is there a clear student problem I can solve? Do I want to scale my expertise or do I actually prefer only live teaching? Do I want a self-paced course, a live cohort, or a hybrid? Am I prepared to design a learner experience, not just upload content? Do I have enough evidence that people care about this topic? And would a mini course be a smarter first step than a big flagship course? Those are the right questions. They save time, money, and a truly impressive amount of self-inflicted nonsense. So, should you create an online course? Probably yes, if you repeatedly teach the same problem, can describe a clear learner result, want more leverage than hourly teaching alone gives you, are willing to design and not just explain, are ready to validate demand before building too much, and are willing to improve the course after launch. instead of treating version 1 like holy scripture. Probably not yet, at least not in a full version. If your topic is still vague, your audience is still fuzzy, you do not know what result you are promising, you hate the idea of structuring and revising, or you want passive income more than you want to help a student reach a result. If that is where you are, the smarter move is probably a single paid lesson, a short workshop, a mini course, or a pilot cohort before building something larger. So, the most useful way to think about all of this is very simple. Do not ask, can I create an online course? Of course you can. Plenty of people with less expertise and worse taste have already done it. Ask instead, should I turn this expertise into a course? And if I do, what kind of course makes sense for my audience, my time, and my goals? That is the grown up question, and if you answer it well, a course can become one of the smartest assets in your teaching career. It can expand your reach, sharpen your positioning, give students a clearer path, and open income beyond the limits of your calendar.